Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to assess vulnerabilities using Nmap for now. So later, when this process is going on, we will have the process will take certain amount of time, and hence we shall perform nessus in the parallel manner. Okay. So now what we are going to do is this is the Kali operating system. So this is the attacker machine, and so here, can you see the screen clearly?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So this is the attacker machine and this is the victim machine. So imagine that this particular uh, systems are within LAN, or if it is in public, then the IP address would be public. So if we see IP address of this, so it is 192. So this is private IP, and hence this is in LAN. And if we see the
Mahesh, is it possible to increase the font size little bit? Maybe who are seeing in the mobile phone, they
okay,
may not be able to see, but on desktop it is fine, no problem.
Ma'am, I'm not able to. It is very small. It is small
Uh,
font.
yeah,
It's
even
not
in
clear.
desktop it is not clear.
It's not clear.
Is it?
Sir, please stop and start.
Yeah.
okay,
Log out and then again log in.
log into meeting.
Or stop sharing and then
Okay,
you again share.
Start.
Let us see.
okay. Okay, can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is clear now.
Okay. So it's not visible, right? Text is not visible.
It's visible, sir.
It is.
Its font size is little small. Can you increase the size of font?
Yeah, I'll try.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Clear.
So now what? So for now, imagine this is an attacker machine. So this actually is an attacker machine. What we are using is a Kali penetration testing machine. So this one is a victim machine. So as of now, I just want to see what is the IP address of this. Okay, so 160.40.126. So now, suppose you don't know who all systems are there in your network. So what you are going to do is, okay, okay, since we don't this command is not there, what we know for now that IP, what is the IP of the victim machine for now. So let's perform like what are the port which are available, by what ports are open, we are going to check. So now we are going to enter the IP address of the victim machine 43.156. So the tool which I had mentioned previously, if you remember, I had mentioned Nmap, which is a command line version. So this is a command line tool. So I am using switch A, where A mentions aggressive. It is denotes as an aggressive scan. So it will aggressively look for what are the ports open, and then it will provide us the output. So based on the number of ports we specify, this is going to list probe the ports to check whether the port is open or not, and if it is whether if it's open or closed or closed. So I think it will take some around a few seconds. Okay. So if you can see here, don't get overwhelmed with this look. By the way, you don't have to see on this. So if we can see here, there are total of 977 closed ports for a particular system. There is a 21 open, which is using version since this is a FTP version 2.3 it is using. So anonymous login. Okay, by seeing this, what we are able to get is what all ports are open. So this comes under reconnaissance and scanning. So we are gaining as much as information about that, right? So this tool can be used for both VA and PT. So now VA comes under, if we get to know what version this particular FTP is using, then we can check in Google for exploits which are using 2.3.4. So that is one vulnerability assessment. So now what we are going to do is we are going to use another tool to check what are the other vulnerabilities we can find using Nikto tool. 56.6. Let me see whether that particular port is open. That is available. Okay, let me say what I'm getting. For now, that particular output, what is
Can you increase the font size again?
it? Yeah, I think
It's going off.
now what if we can remember, we have checked for now we shall do a combination of both VA and PT. Fine. I think there is an error in internet, so I am connected to hotspot again. So now since this particular FTP is there, we will exploit this and gain access into the system, this particular system. So let me check whether IP address is IP address itself is not showing. There is some connectivity issue again. Let me restart this system. Sorry for the delay. So in the meantime, let this one start. We are going to see how Nessus, that is vulnerability assessment tool, works. So, this is the web version of Nessus. So I'm going to log in. So this is hosted locally. So this application is installed in macOS, and this is like in the browser we are going to enter localhost with port 8834, which means that I am accessing application which is hosted in localhost and on the port 8834. So I'm going to enter the password and log into the Nessus. So this is the user interface you come across when you log into this VA tool. Now, okay, here it go. Okay, here these are the scans which were performed on the systems. For now, if we select my scans which were done previously, since this is taking a long time since we had run, so usually vulnerability assessment takes a long time to provide us the output and report. So how we are going to do that scan is click on new scan. Host does these are the different types of scans which are available in Nessus. So here, host discovery. If we don't know what all hosts are there, then we can utilize this to detect the hosts. And then basic network scan. What are the ports open that can be done, or advanced scan, including what all services are running along with open port scan, malware scan. These are the features which are available. These like you don't have to go through all this, but just get an general view of how a particular can you able to hear my voice? I think
Yeah.
I'm
Yes, you're audible.
okay. Loud enough to hear?
Yeah, yeah, it's louder only.
Fine. So now we are going to select a name, for example, scan1, and then give some description. Let it be this. Target, we are going to give the IP address of the system for which you are going to check vulnerability. So this IP address is giving a problem. So since this has loaded, let us see. Okay. So here we are going to give the IP address of system you want to select, or you can select a range of IP addresses by starting by giving like this to 23. So from 1 to 23 it is going to scan. This way, if you click say, so it will keep on running. But since that IP address is not available, the IP address which I had previously ran, since this will take a lot of time, is this one. So before session I had started it. So before session I had started it. As you can see, the previous new scan I had created was scan1. Just like that, just few minutes before I had randomly typed the name. And if we select that one scan which is still in progress, you can see here, policy is basic network scan. As I mentioned there, the number of boxes here, as you saw, basic scan, advanced scan. In that I had selected basic network scan, and it is still running. So right now the amount of vulnerabilities which are of information. So these are the risk values which are being given. least to high. So for this, I had given, I am performing vulnerability scan for this domain, gcsrt.com for now. So it has been completed still 4%. So just imagine how long it would take actually to run. So that is one of the drawback as well. So if we click this, here we can see the severity. If we had any critical or high severity vulnerability, then it would have been shown here. Now, service detection. Okay, so here we have TCP, and if we click this, we are going to get the information of that. So remote host implements TCP. So you just don't have to. There are many vulnerabilities which which is very difficult to remember as well. So you can see the vulnerability details, when it was published, when it was modified, version, along with. So RFC provides detail of all the concept of TCP timestamp. This TCP timestamp details will be in RFC 1323. This is not vulnerability but a feature. Okay. So here we can see the latest news in Tenable that there are few CVEs. If you remember CVE 2020, in this year there are few CVEs which are in trending now. If I click here, we are going to see the TCP information, what vulnerability that actually is. Don't get overwhelmed with the information I'm showing here. Just get an idea of what all information you could find. This is just assessing vulnerabilities. All scan. So these are the scans which are performed. This one Gening 8 is running. We can just browse through this and settings also. License, as I said, 16 hosts can be utilized for scanning. This is a trial version. So you got an idea of how a VA looks like. So this is one of the Nessus popular tool. And right now when we scanned this, only information related vulnerability were found, because all the critical and I were actually patched, or there wasn't any previously. Or if it completes 100%, we might actually find a low or a medium one as well. So now this is actually working, I guess. Wait a minute. So let me confirm. This has IP this and this one. Let me check the IP whether this is also is connected to internet as of now. Yeah, as we can see here, this also has private IP and that also has a private IP. Now we will be able to do tasks. Yeah, clear. $156. Okay, as we saw the output of this, but why I run again is that I might need information for real exploitation in the next steps. So I'm going to use Nikto tool to see the web application, like I had mentioned here. So this is one of the Linux operating system, Linux system, which is hosting a website. So that particular website, if you want to confirm whether you can really access that, using web browser itself, we actually access the right. So that is how 43.156. So if you can see, we are actually accessing the website. That this system is actually working as a web server right now. So we can utilize that to exploit. So here there are some forms which have username and password. Let us proceed on with the steps we were performing to see what all vulnerabilities are there in that web server. So Nikto is on such tool, and I'm going to mention host -h and get the output. So here, if you can see server which is being hosted over there is Apache 2.2.8, and IP is this, host name and target port is 80. For any HTTP and HTTPS related, 80 and 443 port will be by default open. So that is the standard. So we have server this installed. So this has many vulnerabilities, as you can see, as I highlighted it. So here, this has anti-clicking, clickjacking vulnerability as well. This means that when your clickjacking is where your click will be hijacked. So if in certain sites, what happens is when you try to click download, but download button will do some other action or redirect to other site. So that is one of the clickjacking example. So XSS protection header, this all vulnerabilities will be listed along with this. So one we will target, and then we are going to exploit. But before that, what we are focusing on is VA. We are getting as much as information about that host by checking what all vulnerabilities are there. We are going to copy all this and form a report showing what are the vulnerabilities present on the system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use another tool called Sparta. Using that, this is one of the mixture of both VA and PT. This tool, okay. So now what I'm doing is, so I'm running Sparta, but this requires Python to be utilized to run that. So using that, I'm going to get more information of that web server, what vulnerabilities, and this can also be used to exploit. So UI came pop up for this, and I'm going to select the IP as well. So in this case, we are inputting IP, but when it comes to public, you don't have to enter IP. For example, if you want to do this VA for Facebook.com, you can just type Facebook.com when it is in working in WAN. But however, scanning public IPs is illegal. So keeping that in mind, you would be termed for jail if they catch you. So here these ports are open. Green shows that they are open. So as we know, 80 is open. FTP, SSH, all these protocols are open. Along with that, we are also getting the version. Here, if you see, so we are in here. We are also getting the output of Nikto tool. And this is a mixture of many tools. This is in progress. It is still yet to load. Let this complete, and it will show the output. So now what we can do is In the meantime, we are going to exploit the vulnerability which is open. So in the nmap, as you saw here, don't get confused, guys, because I'm switching through. This is an nmap tools output. So this is the I tried, and the FTP version, this one is being used. Let us exploit and get into the system without username and password. So here, Control Shift plus. I'm using MSF console, which is a Metasploit tool. Okay, what is the output? Okay. So as you can see here, the output of Sparta, which we tried to provide, this result gave us the password as well. So we got one valid password. Using Sparta tool, we provide the input. The Hydra, this Sparta comes with Hydra inbuilt. This is one of the brute force tool where this cross checks username and password in a cluster manner where randomly it will keeps on selecting, and then this is going to give us that it found a login and username password. So this is also one of the. So here you can see PostgreSQL. If we remember the output of nmap, here you should see PostgreSQL port as well. Okay, so this port 5432. So this is one of the service which is running and the port is open. Even this authentication also we got here. The login username and password is the same, Postgres. So we can all validate this by getting into that. Now we will see what all outputs are provided.
I have one question, sir.
Can you speak louder? It is very low, actually.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
This password is this simple password, no? PostgreSQL.
Let me.
Complex
Wait a minute. Yeah, tell me.
So this password is plain text password, no? It is simply not using the lowercase, uppercase, or mixing with special characters and the numbers.
Exactly.
In that case also it should be able
No. See, what happens here, this brute force attack is where the tool is going to check against this file. Okay, so let me open that file and show you what that contains. So here cd desktop. So here if you see, this is listing all the username and passwords which were previously detected. This is called a dictionary file. Okay, a brute force file which particular tool uses. What in the background it does is, it is going to grab each and every value and then check it against the check the response of that particular server. If it says true, then it is going to know that particular value is itself is the password. So when you said what if there are complex passwords, see here you can see here also this is also one of the complex numbers are there along with text, and here if you see special characters are also there. If you have changed the password to something and that password is there in this dictionary file, then it will surely hit and give us the response. But if it's not there, there is some other rule-based attack and brute force attack, which is tries each and every combination. It starts from A, B, C, Z, then A, B, A, C. Like this, it keep on checking. It will take a lot of time. So
That is not fruitful, no?
yeah, tell me.
I said that shall not be fruitful, na? It will take 10 years or 20 years in that case.
That is the reason why people recommend to use complex password in order to secure. So that is one of the main criteria to have set a password. But however, when I know your password, that your password contains your username and certain numbers, I don't know what is the number, but your username, like your name is in the password, I will use rule-based attack to mention in the dictionary file that this password has username this one. For example, what is your name?
Sunil Kumar, sir.
Okay, I'm going to mention in the rule that the password contains Sunil, and later I don't know what are the rules, but then it will keep on checking what all combinations can come containing Sunil. So in that case, it as you said, it won't be fruitful. That is the reason why quantum computer, and since processing powers are becoming increasing, so in that case, even complex passwords are not yet far to get cracked. In the near future, even that can be cracked easily. So this is, we are showing here, so since this doesn't take long duration to crack it, we are showing this simple passwords, how a dictionary file is used to grab the password.
Okay. Thank you.
So now I had run that output. Okay, now I got this. So let me see whether this is going to provide us the output. But however, what you can learn is how to use Metasploit, MSF console Metasploit to attack into the exploit that particular version. This 2. Where is the output? Okay, let this be here. It's very difficult to manage multiple windows in one screen. And then, since we know this, where is this VSFPT or application is used, so I'm going to search in the Metasploit for FTP. So since this is an older version and there is already an exploit, this Kali Linux comes with tools as well, tools and exploit inbuilt. So you can, that is the reason why we recommend to patch the vulnerabilities and upgrade the system. So here it is running an older version, so we are going to use that to exploit. Here you can see that more information. Here, this exploit, which is of Unix based, Linux based, FTP back. So this is a backdoor which provides a backdoor. Okay, this was disclosed in 2011, so it is highly reliable, and so we shall use for command execution. So now this MSF console has some keywords to use. So in that case, you don't have to worry what are the commands. You can just see, I'm going through the directories. I'm going to this directory. I am going to use that. So now we are using that actually. Let us see the info. So the description about exploit is given here. So you don't have to worry on what exactly that does. Here few parameters also are mentioned. Now for that there is one more keyword. To how to actually use that exploit. To get more information about that exploit, we can use show options. Now we are going to see ROS and R port. This is the port we are going to mod. This is the data we are going to modify to actually make that exploit suitable for our case. Got the point? So since this exploit by default use as a port of 21, so because it has related to FTP, right? So they have by default configured it. So now we are going to set our host and the IP address of that attack, I mean victim machine. Then now if I enter exploit, the reason why people recommend exploits to be used is you don't have to configure vulnerability and exploitation from scratch. You don't have to write scripts from scratch. So what they have developed itself you can utilize and get the job done. If you had not known, then you should have from scratch see how it works, and then you have to write a script. So now one of the good things, if you check, let me show. So what is happening here? If you see the commands, I am entering Linux, but however, let me go into the system. I have actually gotten into the system. I just want you to confirm that. So here I'm going to see what all directories are available using ls. So here there is a directory called vulnerable. Let me see where that actually is. MSF admin. Okay, so here if you see here, I actually got access into that system just by using exploit and mentioning that IP. So I'm going to enter pwd. I'm in the root. If it's / then it is root. I'm going to go into the home and ls. So cd msf admin. I'm going to go into the folder ms admin. Now if I say mention here vulnerable, so this is, if I make a directory, I am creating a folder in that particular, in the victim machine. I'm creating folder by using this, by using attack machine. So if I mention hack, and now if I go and see what all directories are here, then you can see here it is hacked as well. So we actually got access into the system. Good, cool. It succeeded. You should feel happy. Okay. So that's how what we did actually is we used Nmap and saw what all services are running on what port, and then we got to know the version of that. And after getting to know the version, we searched in the MSF console tool set of the application and the version number, and we found an exploit which was already developed, and we utilized that exploit to mention the target IP. Where did I mention that? I mentioned the target IP. I set the rhost as a target IP, and then when I run the exploit, then I got into the system. So this can be used to exploit much many ports over there. Since this particular host is a vulnerable host by nature, this was developed just for testing purpose and practice purpose. So that is why it has a lot of vulnerabilities. Can you able to hear me? There was a lag.
Yeah, we are hearing you properly, no problem at our end.
Okay, so we can use another another exploit as well to see what are the, let me set. There should be some Samba related as well. Samba. Yeah. Here we have Samba related. This is one of the this feature was exploited for WannaCry ransomware. This was one of the feature which was exploited, and encrypt the users files and then ask for a ransom, ask for money. Just like kidnapping, they are going to ransom, encrypt the files, your personal files, and then ask for money in order to decrypt that. So that was one of the feature it was used. Now just like that, let us try whether okay, let's try. Samba was there, right? So I'm going to MSF console. This is the last exploit I'm going to show using MSF console. Okay, then we are going to see how to bypass username and password for a particular web page using Burp Suite. That is one of the important tool which you have to know. Okay, now where is that? Okay, now we are here. So we have many Samba related exploits here, as you can see. Not every exploit will work on every system. So this is a list of it, and we have to identify which version works. Okay, Samba related to user, only this one is there. Okay, just like previous one, I'm going to see what all the options are there. So it has by default selected this. So we have to modify certain information. Set host as a target for that 192.168. So what should happen is actually again we can control the system using this exploit created. Okay, but before that we have to okay, it is selecting this port itself. Okay. in the meantime, I figure out this. Yeah, you got the idea, right? So how to use FTP to gain access, just like that we were trying to look for SMB Samba. So it has some configuration issues to do. But where is yeah, we are going to use Burp Suite to attack this website. So since we, for example, this particular web server hosts this website called DVWA, Damn Vulnerable Web Application. So this has a default password which we are going to log into. Here it is mentioned, admin and password. So this website actually contains many web-based attacks scenarios. So if you can see, these are the possible attacks which can be done on this site. So for now, let us for testing purpose, we will set the script security to low, where low is where the if multiple number of wrong passwords occur, then it is not going to lock out if we select low, because we are trying to do brute force attack. So this is, if we set this as high, then it is going to lock out for a certain time and it will be a delay. So we are making it as low, and then security, then let us perform brute force. So now we don't know what is the username and password. Let's imagine that. Okay, so we will see what actually is the username and password. For that, I'm going to set the proxy. What proxy actually is, any request which goes from user to server, I mean user system to server, this proxy will get hold of that request so that we can analyze it. Until and unless we forward that request, it will not go to the server. So now what I am doing is, I went into the browser settings and set the proxy to local itself. What this does is, the request which is going outside will be holded by this particular system itself. That is the meaning of this. This means this. This one means loopback address. This is the IP address of this system. Okay, this is called localhost. Okay, now I set up the proxy. I am going to run Burp Suite. It will take some time to load Burp Suite, so I'm going to run that, and let us check whether we know the password or username. Okay, so what error comes? Okay, we don't know for now. Yeah, proxy is set, right? So before setting up the proxy, we should have tested. Now let us change this. Select a temporary project and use the default setting of Burp Suite, and then do the middleman attack, grab the request, and then check the what is the username and password. So I am going, these are all, if you get confused with all these options, don't have to worry, just see what actually is being performed. So intercept is on, so proxy and intercept is on. So whatever the traffic which goes, this Burp Suite is going to intercept now. And now if I click, okay, so if when I enter wrong username and password, there will be a request, right? Whenever you enter any username and password, there will be a post request, post traffic to the server. That is captured here. So as you can see, I typed test for username, and this one for randomly I typed, and it captured. So since we don't know, we are going to utilize the data of this request and utilize the session ID and cookie settings and session ID to manipulate the session ID so that I can brute force into the server. So now I'm going to send to intruder the data which I have here. I'm going to send to the intruder, which means it will act as a middleman for now. So this is the target IP, and this is normal. It took based on this data itself. It is taking all this data. So here attack type, I'm selecting cluster bomb, which means all possible combination of username and password should be matched, not just one is to one, one is to many, if you get the point. So here this selects fields and values. So here field is username and value is test for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all this key and value pair and just select username and password. So I'm going to clear all that. I'm just going to select username and passwords. What I'm doing actually now is I'm adding only 2 variables to check against the file which I'm going to point to. File is just previously when I mentioned that rocku.txt, which is a dictionary file. That also we can point it out. We can you'll see now. Now we'll need to, in the payload we are going to mention the username and passwords here. So since I don't want that to take long, I'm going to enter individual username and password. So if you want, we can load this and select the as we show here. So Rocky, we can select this as well, but it will take a lot of time because I have selected cluster. And if I select cluster, all possible combination will be checked against. It will take a long time. But if you can check in your own like virtual lab, and then you can easily perform that action. Now I am going to type in all the possible username and password I think I know. Of course, for sure, I'm going to enter the known username and password because I need to show you how the concept works. But out of all that list, I'm going to enter just a value over there. So in that around 10 values, there will be only 2 right values, right? So that is what the concept I'm going to show. So I selected payloads set 2 because for both username and password, since 2 values are there, I'm providing 2 payload set. So when I click start attack, and then this is nothing, you can skip it. Now it is performing cluster attack. So see, as you can see, all the values I had typed is cross-checking against each other. So I think 5 into 5, this many combinations should come. So I think 5 factorials or permutation combination. I think that is the concept behind here. Okay, now it's finished. So here so now out of all this, how to identify what exactly is the right password? Okay, so here if you see the length for all the error value, yeah. So for all the length is what the number of characters which were received from that particular response. So if you see, there is a certain constant values 4882, but only one thing is different. It means that probably there was many one things, and there was just one another thing. So what is this many thing, we don't know, but let us focus on what this actually is. So now this is, so since I have previously understood this concept, and I can explain you just clearly. So all these are failure actions. 4882 failure, and all the number of characters were this many, and then this is this. The only correct is this one. So now we got to know that username and password is admin and password. So if we check that against that, entering the same. Now this is not going to load because the interceptor is on. So I'm going to stop that, or I can forward it. Anything I can do. So now I'm going to enter again admin and password. welcome to the password protected area admin. So this only had had only a login page, and when a successful login has occurred, we are going to see our prompt. If it was a real web application, then we would surely go into the home page. So since this doesn't have any home page, this only had login page with user credential cross checking. So this is resulting only the output here. So if we type something else, so it shows username and password incorrect. So here admin password. So welcome. So you understood the concept. Now we found out what is the actual username and password. As Sunil asked, since the password is very easy, we were able to crack it in a short duration. But if it was complex, dictionary file should be updated. There are about many GBs of text file. Just imagine a text file being in GB size, how many values should have been stored there? That many number of passwords are online, and they have grabbed it and all possible password combination. Usually many store as password 123, and I love you, and girlfriend's name, and college name, pet name. All these assumptions are made, and then a dictionary file is created. So usually we recommend to create a complex password. So now you guys came to know how vulnerability assessment is done using Nmap, Nikto, Sparta, and Nessus, right? So, and pen testing, how it is done using MSF console, and where is that? Sparta also we found actually few passwords and usernames. Since that was actually utilizing the Hydra tool. Hydra is one of the brute force attacking tool. So since we have more time now, okay, what we can do is I can show you another social engineering, technical social engineering attack. So this is not related to, okay, since I have not installed the tool over here, I'm going to use another PC. In the meantime, if you have any doubts, you can ask. I'll be sharing the screen of another PC where that attack can be done. I'm checking whether I can install SE Toolkit in the meantime. Okay, I think I don't have to share. I can use it here itself. It's downloading. So any doubts you have, you can ask. So usually any tool in the Linux will be usually Python or Ruby. So Bash.
Hello, Mahesh.
Yeah. Yes.
By knowing all these vulnerabilities, by testing ourselves, can we take any preventive measures?
Knowing all these vulnerabilities. Yeah, that is the reason why we assess the vulnerability, right? So preventive measures in what case you are asking? In this section of vulnerability or
In this section.
okay. So
So how do we?
so now we know that if an unnecessary port is open, then this could be exploited, and that is one thing. So by that you can close the port, unused ports. That is called OS hardening. Along with that, you can update or upgrade the software which you are currently using. That is one more thing. So in that case, you can mitigate them. So you can. Yeah,
See,
tell me.
if we are not, well versed with closing the port and all this, then can we? Is it possible to automate these things? Like any
Yeah.
tools which can detect and which can prevent vulnerabilities automatically, because all common man may not know
Yeah.
this.
So these kinds. Yeah, someone is speaking.
It's me only.
Okay. No, there was a background noise. Okay. So what happens is, since there is a like normal end user won't be able to do all these tasks. That is what you are
Yeah,
asking.
yeah.
So yeah, all these tasks will be done by penetration testers and vulnerability assessment people. So security analysts are going to perform this, and they are going to release patches. You don't have to worry about this. For example, Windows has this vulnerability. Just remember. So every Tuesday they are going to release patches. So you don't have to install all this. So they are going to come up with this vulnerability checks, and then they are going to release that. By default, it is going to install.
Okay, okay. So it can be overcome. Uh, so without having vulnerability, we can have a proper system by mitigating all these vulnerabilities. It is possible, right?
It is possible actually. For an end user, always you have to have an antivirus and then upgrade the software. Those are the main things which we actually prefer.
Okay.
So okay, now we got this running. So this is one of the social engineering toolkit set. What it does is it hosts a certain number of scripts for performing all kinds of these attacks. For now, we'll be focusing on social engineering attack. What this technical social engineering, I mean. So I'm going to select option 1 to say that. Then I'm going to select from here website attack vector. So these are all the attack vectors. So I'm going to select for now. Now I'm going to select 3. Why I'm selecting all these 3, you will get to know. So now here we have 3 features. So web templates are by default installed here along with what I had downloaded SC toolkit. Along with that, it comes web templates. This is what we are going to use. But before that, site cloner is where you can specify certain site name, and then it is going to download all the necessary files and the HTML page, and by yourself you can host it here. So it will be downloading an entire website concept. So custom import, you can also, as the name suggests, you can import certain web pages as well. So now I'm going to select web template, and I'm going to enter, and then here you can see these many websites are currently downloaded along with SE toolkit. So why if you are confused, this will clear your doubt. So if I select Google, suppose I had mentioned a remote PC. So that is where a remote PC IP, if I had mentioned, then this page is going to be hosted over there. So if he browses through that IP and run that, okay, I think is the proxy removed. So let me remove this. So if you can see here, the email and password, what would you usually, if for example, if you get this page, what would you do? You would actually enter the username and password, right, to sign into Google account. So what happens in this case, for example, if you type and some password, here it is going to, wait a minute, where did that go? Yeah, I didn't press enter. Okay, so here we are getting Python related error. See whether this is going to, this is a very interesting concept actually. Okay, so it worked now. So now, for example, let me see whether it is running. Okay, so here if you type now the same which I had typed previously, I'm going to enter random password as a random password and then sign in. So now here if you can see, okay, here if you can see the key logging facility has been captured. So whatever the input was inputted over there, we are getting here as the password and username. So what the thing what you are going to learn from this is, whenever you see any website where it is asking for a username and password, then you have to make sure that it is not pointing to some other IP or a user domain. In this case, since it's hosted locally, the IP is shown. But in WAN related, internet related, Google.com could have been showing G00gle.com. Then you should be very careful on what site you are visiting, and also you should make sure that this is not the case when you are doing important transaction or entering username and password. So when you, if you make sure that, and then you will be escaping from threats. Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
So I have a
Who
doubt.
is this
Could you
speaking?
please repeat the extension link which you told me, sir? It is GLE. Could you please repeat?
Which extension?
You just told one. You should be careful with the link when you do a transaction.
Okay. Okay. I gave an example, but you
Yes, sir,
can't
that-
search. Yeah, G00GLE. For example,
Okay.
Google.com should not be looking like G00GLE. That is, an attacker could host a website with that name, and they could redirect that to you. So you should never skip the minute details when you are browsing.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So for now, we saw vulnerability assessment, penetration test, social engineering attack. Using certain exploits, we exploited and got a reverse shell. That is, got access to the remote system. That is victim machine. We even checked by confirming by creating a folder called hacked. That one got confirmed. And many command line tools, Nikto, Sparta, all that we use that to grab the vulnerability list. As madam also asked that how based on what based on this vulnerability how we can be safeguarded. So for an end user, you don't have to worry all this. If you become a security analyst or a security specialist, then you will encounter with all these vulnerabilities, and you will be constantly being encountered with these scenarios, and then you will have the access knowledge and tool set to perform all this action. So right now, all you have with your in your control is the device which you are actually using, mobile and system. Keep that safe. So any doubts you can ask.
Sir, you have shown one, GitHub tool, right, in the website.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that sufficient? It is listing all kinds of, attacks or what.
Okay. Okay.
Can you show once again that?
Let me show.
Yeah. Is this freeware? No? It is available.
Yeah, it is free. So anything in Linux for now is free actually. So all that's any paid version also will be a open source version for that.
Okay.
So one can explore all these attack methods.
Fine. GitHub.com.
Any doubts? Please ask. This were the session we were planned. These were the syllabus and topics we had prepared for. So now, any questions you have, you can ask from both mornings and afternoons and evening session.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, tell me.
So what is the best resource available on Kali?
Best resource available?
Yes, sir. Best books on Kali. And what are the certifications available in this Kali Linux?
What are the certificates available?
Yes, sir.
So best resource, what is Hackers Handbook is one of the best resource. Along with that, OSCP, Offensive Security themselves, who are the compiler of Kali Linux, they themselves have a blog, their website resource. They provide complete information of how any tool can be used using Kali, and that is an official repository for knowing Kali Linux. And certifications for Kali, OSCP is one of the best. Along with that, if since that is an advanced, one can start with the CH or OHSC. All these trainings are provided in GCSRT as well.
Okay.
So, what education background you are actually from?
I have masters in computer science.
Oh, master in MCA.
Yes, sir. I done an advanced diploma in network security from CDEC, Mohali.
Okay. So all this should be all should be just you commonly encounter network security, but Kali Linux is not comes under that. You encounter in firewall configuration and maintaining its security, right? Yeah. Okay. Then I think what is Chinna Maman? Anything you want to add on?
Okay.
So that's it for session. I don't have any apart from asking questions.
Yeah, it is very informative. It is very good. We learned about a lot of things about vulnerability testing and assessment and penetration testing. Any
Good to know.
I think no questions from the participants. If any questions, you can ask. You can unmute your mic and you can ask.
Or you can type in chat as well.
Chat also.
So Manu and SP are saying very informative session. Good to know. Take this as a curiosity, learn more. It is always a rewarding subject.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Mahesh.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, this opportunity is not ending today. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will
Yeah,
meet.
now I got to know like how this particular session goes. Now I should be able to easily
Yeah.
set up everything.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This is the first session anyway. It takes little time to streamline everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll meet tomorrow again.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone is asking for a question.
Shall we have sessions on the latest operating systems? Like we have just did the FTP 2.3.4.
Okay.
Currently it is 3.0.
Currently what?
Currently it is 3.0, no, running.
Okay. Did you check in the Google what is the current version?
Latest operating systems.
See, what we exploited was not using the operating system. We utilized one of the FTP servers application. You are saying correct, but you should mention your latest version of application, not the operating system.
Like
So
we have 1.2.18 and we install FTP over there 3.0.
okay. So, yeah.
Then
If in the internet there is an exploit for that version, then it is okay. We can exploit. If there is none, then it is difficult. However, if one gets into the gets the file and do reverse engineering on that file and see what all the if one can understand assembly language and see every line of code, where does that lead to, and using that he can create an exploit. That level of expertise should be needed to create an exploit for some scenarios. So in the future, surely an exploit will be developed for sure. That is the reason why versions are always being upgraded. So for now, since it is the latest version, I don't think there is any, but we can do a quick Google search for that version as well.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Fine, Janama ma'am, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll end the session.
Yeah, we'll end the session and have a nice day. Let us. Somebody is asking something. This one.
Okay.
How can we
I
know
know
that
that.
website is fake?
Okay, many things can be considered in order to know whether the website is fake. First thing, but the very look, if it is not same, if certain there will be some font variation which you will be mostly used in, and if there is any font which you are mainly most of all, if you are using it day to day, and then again if some other day the font has changed and the look has been changed, then you can confirm that. And also I think screen is still visible, right? Screen is still visible, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, and here you can see the connection is secure. This HTTPS connection should be there, but still we can't solely rely on this. But this stops 90% of fake sites. So if one has to get this to configure, he has to buy SSL certificate, and then he has to get it registered on a domain hoster, and then all these processes are there. This will lead to know us that, say, since the SSL certificate needs a authentication check, we know that this was surely from a genuine site. This is one thing. And you can also grab the IP, grab the URL and copy paste in something called URL void. Okay, so if you type this and paste in URL void, for example, take this URL which is being showed here, cuckooset.com. Too many VMs running, so I think this is taking a toll. Okay. So for example, you have a website and you got the URL, and if you see here it is blacklisted, so this is suspicious. So then you can see various ways of seeing whether that particular website is fake or not. Got the answer? So here it stays to is there any attendance link for this session? Okay, session was back with Lana. Thank you. Thank you, Lalita Chandrasekhar. Fine. Thank you, sir. For Bhupendra Rana says, Ravi Kumar says, thank you. Okay. So we will catch up tomorrow with another interesting concept which you might be aware of, but I'm going to present that in a way that you are not aware of. Okay, keep that as an expectation. Let me see how it goes. Fine. Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll end the session. Bye, everyone.